Well, I'll tell you what, that was a frigid cold shower on a very hot day. It looked nice in Delaware. It certainly was nice in Lexington. The weather was great to look at all the babies today. I looked at, I think, 70-some yearlings today at Kentuckiana. They had 90 on site, and Daniel and Sandy looked at the last 15 as I had to come over here. I wanted to watch Memento Mori. I wanted to warm up country dancing. I wanted to go with Memory and Imagination. Along the way, watch the fillies in Delaware, and what, forgive my language, but what a shit show. Memory and Imagination got all he could, before the race. There was no going to be blast out of there and hope things will go our way, because we knew it wasn't going to. But that's what happens when you have Carl and the likes of Carl up in that top division. No one wants to tangle with them. It just makes that middle so much tougher, and it certainly was very tough today. 52 in a piece. And I get over I don't even want the quarter. Felt we were at the quarter in 31 seconds. Memory and Imagination trotted well, kind of wiggled through coming out of the turn, and ended up sixth, beaten for fifth and finishing sixth. But, I suspect even I have my limitations. Even I'm as aggressive a driver as you're going to find. But even I have to look at the program and say, not gonna work out. So ducked him, and I have no qualms about doing it. And I know, you know what I said to Scotty. Scotty was mad after the race. In fact, he said, if it wasn't me, he would have raced that horse differently. And I know I put pressure on James and I put pressure on Scotty. When it comes to the races, listen, I want Scotty to be Scotty, but at the same time, don't hold back. This is a final. I want the horses raced. I don't want to get emails, nor do I want to think of writing one that says, why were we 10th at the half when we were 7-2? And if you look at the race, there was no 3-hole, there was no 4-hole, 5-hole, 6-hole. There was 2 holes, the front and the back. Scotty said he put him in gear around the turn, he touched himself and made a break. Sounds about 100% accurate. But even at that point, there was 2 holes, the front and the back. No retreat. Going for 100,000, race the horse, and I don't feel bad about that. I know he does, because he would have rather maybe take the horse back. And that's what I love about James and Scotty, is their conservative way of driving. It's the exact opposite for me. But I don't think anybody is going to disagree and say, you know what, even in hindsight, saying, maybe we should have just got away 10th. I didn't come here to get away 10th. Horse was second favorite on the board. Who in the name of Jesus would have thought that not one breaker except us in the first turn, out of the cavalry charge in the first turn, not one breaker but us. No holes anywhere. If there's a 5-hole, Scotty leaves, looks left, drops in the 5-hole, 6-hole, 4-hole. Nothing. Front, back, or 5 wide in the first turn. It just wasn't a good race. It wasn't a good setup. It certainly was a terrible result, and it just is what it is. You draw 10, and that happens. Everybody just jams in the first turn. There's nowhere to go. I certainly don't feel bad that Scotty opted to continue on. And if he wants to, he's not angry, but it's not his style. Scotty doesn't like when horses make breaks. He doesn't like when he doesn't look good. I get that. That's his brand. That's him. So he has every right to say that or feel that. It's not that he was angry at me. We're going out to dinner right now. But I know he would have rather, especially in hindsight, taken the horse back, I guess. And even as I look at the race, if you gave me the choice, roll the dice moving forward or take him back to last, I'm never picking last. So, Memento Mori, that was a tough thing to watch. It was a tough race to be in. It was a tough draw. It was just tough. It's the way it is. Country dancing. Here's the thing about country dancing. I have country dancing hung up, and Tim and I, when we hung the filly up, this is how I liked her. Mark didn't like her. And Scotty, we wear a steering bar, a jawbreaker on her. As a driver, I generally don't like jawbreakers. But I was the one that suggested we put it on, and she wore it the day she was a winner in 53. I thought she felt good, looked good, and was good. Was a non-competitive horse in Philadelphia just looked terrible. Mark said she was hitting her knee. She was twisted around sideways. She was out of gear. Okay. Tim trained her and said she felt good at the Meadows. We did remove the Murphy blind today. She was running in a little bit. And probably a lot more in Philadelphia. Wasn't running in at all today. Scott said mechanically she was fine except she got out of gear. Now this is very telling. She paced the first turn good, but then was setting herself up for the last turn getting out of gear. Scott thought it was her front feet. It could be her front feet. I think it's something else. I think it's a little bit of two things. Something like a check. Something like that, a check ligament that's bothering her or something, because we've had her to 3 very to pretty to fairly competent veterinarians. Smart guys. And although they found something they thought it could be, there was never any definitive improvement afterwards. So I just told Tim, stop looking. It will get worse or better. Grab some cedar oil, blister her knees, her hocks, her stifles, her check ligaments, her curbs, her ankles. Put a good scurf on her all around. See if she gets better, and she did. Every week she got a little bit better. Every week we took a little bit more gear off her. Some of the weeks we did change her gear because of her. And I would say it was because she was that much better. Because there was a significant improvement. She kind of got away on Scotty in the post parade a little bit today. And I thought maybe he shut her air off. We scoped her. There was no evidence of her shutting her air off at all. It was pretty clear that she was tired on the end of it. That was a much more deep, taxing surface than she's used to. Especially coming off a horrendous mile. She was a little grabby coming to the half. I saw Scott remove her to the front, I think. And he blamed it on the jawbreaker. He didn't like the jawbreaker. She was hard to control. Again, this is one of those places where it's to each his own, right? And I want the filly to be comfortable, and I want Scott to be comfortable driving her. And there's pretty clear today that neither were comfortable with the other. Scott asked me before the race, you're here, you're driving memory and imagination. Why am I driving this filly? Well, Scott, I don't know if you're aware of this statistic or not, but you're a better driver than I am. Same reason James McDonald drove Gaslight Hall, and people might have said, oh, I wish you would have drove Gaslight. All that would have happened driving Gaslight last night is he would have been exposed and burnt out, and he would have got tired. One of our clients, David, had said to me, why don't we race him in the last gold? Never dawned on me to race him in the last gold. Good idea. I posted to James. You have the grassroots consolation going for $25,000, or you have the gold. If he wins gold, he makes it the final. He said, Anthony, I'm going to tell you the truth. My opinion, you can't do in a gold. I would race him in the grassroots consolation and bring him to Corbin, unless it's too much shipping. I said he's pretty easy on himself. I've never heard of you ship bad. He always bounced back. He arrived in Kentucky days before his first start here. I think 55, 27, and 4 in the end of it is a pretty decent mile. Our only 2-year-old that's trotted faster, I think, is Maury, right? Second in 54 a couple of times. It's a good mile. But yeah. So to David, thank you for saying that, because it never dawned on me. But we've both been overruled by James. And he's going to err on the side of caution. I take that all in. I have my James filter set up in my brain, as he has his Anthony filter set up in his. But I think he's right. Grassroots it is. So we'll go to the grassroots semifinal, our grassroots consolation, going for $25,000, not $250, but it's not $2 either. It's still $25,000. And then 2 weeks after that, he will be in Corbin. That's a lot of shipping, but you know what? If he's an easy shipper, it's not the end of the world. I know Amy had said that. She goes, oh, it's so hard on them. Yeah, shipping is hard on them. Can be. It's harder on the horses that are hard on themselves. For the horses that are easy on themselves, it's not a big deal at all. Then we turned our focus during all of this, actually before all of this, to Delaware. I see the 3-horse make a break coming off the car. Alexander's going to get away. Good. Wait, the 3-horse falls down. Okay, he fell down kind of clean. Probably going to pop back up, get out of the way, get off the racetrack. It's not an automatic... the race isn't canceled automatically in Ohio. But Clearly, there was some sort of a skirmish when the horse got up. Maybe it didn't get up clean. Maybe it didn't get up yet, like at the time. Whatever reason, they called it a no contest. One of our clients emailed me to tell me that those fillies don't belong in the stake races. Well, they're in between, and both of them can fit the consolation now, right? And if you don't think they belong, then my answer would be, why do we still have them? I think they belong. Sure, I believe they could win a maiden, but it is worth noting that Fire and Shine got beaten a maiden also once. And I can't tell when I enter the horses, how difficult the races are going to be, how tough they're going to be. What if we draw the rail in a soft division with both fillies? It's not outside the realm of possibility. And although you're right, they're not stake horses. They don't belong in the stakes. They both can race in the consolation. And I might have been a little short with Paul today. For that, I apologize. At the moment, I just watched both the fillies. One have a no contest. The other one's sixth. 4 wide in the last turn for whatever reason. I watched Memento Mori make a break. I really wasn't in good humor, to be honest. I usually try and take a deep breath. I won't even answer emails after races like this because it's frustrating to me. Also, I'm human. But we are racing them, right? They're not getting beat up. Roshan Alexandra was good today, apparently. She looked good to me. Fire and Shine looked like she had some pace on the end of it. She should have maybe stayed left, and we would have got a bone, which would have went a long way to getting in the consolation. My plan would be to get 2-year-old marks on both those fillies. I'm trying my best to get them in where they can do. But when you fit that meaty middle of the state, and you're as good as 40 other horses, it's not all that easy. Not always that easy. It's not like racing condition horses. Just find a better class. It's not always that easy with young horses and stake horses, as you are seeing. So, both those fillies will race in the consolation. Hopefully before now and then, we'll get a 2-year-old mark on both of them. They're both going to be, the one thing I absolutely agree with Paul is, they're both going to be decent 3-year-olds. Very useful horses. I think they're going to be anyway. So not a great start to our day by any stretch of the imagination, right? We had a no contest. We had a 6th. Then we had a break with Maury in the biggest race, second biggest race. Well, similar, equally biggest race of his year, of his life. Memory and Imagination was 6th, a decent 6th. That's all he could get. And Country Dancing was a beaten, tired 3rd. Don't like to see that, but that's what played out today. Now we still have the rest of the night. Princess Dream is in. All Gas, No Brakes. Resolve Indeed. Tenacious Hanover. Yo, Mister. Hopefully, for the love of God, please, every one of you win. Because it started off a great day. The middle kind of sucked. It'd be nice to finish with a bang. Now, in 33 minutes. Now, by the time you see this, the horse will be posted already. You guys should know by now. We bought a horse this afternoon. A New Zealand horse, a mare. I had a number of texts from people saying, is this horse sound? Well, I talked to Irv. Now, granted, he's a little biased. He's selling the horse. I talked to some of the people that drove the horse last, recently. Both said she's a decent filly. Just not going to fit in Kentucky or Indiana. I think we have a great spot for this filly, and I think she's going to do this mare. She's 6. Great spot for this mare, and she's going to do some good for us, hopefully. So, what's her name? Chevron Bypass or something like that. Her name is Chevron's Bypass N. Captain Treacherous 6-year-old mare from New Zealand, and I think she's going to do us some good at the stable. Hopefully one of those immediate impact type situations. So with that, I'll let you go. Not a great day for us at the track. Obviously, high hopes were on Maury, and he exploded. And I know that Scott, I think there's some blame. He blames me a little bit. I do put a lot of pressure on them, but I don't feel bad for that. Am I wrong in speaking for all of you and myself and saying I don't want to see him sit 10th in a stake race going for 100? Yes, there's some congestion in the middle. If you got to pick a fork in the road, left being front, right being back, put your left blinker on. I don't think I need to apologize for that. Anyway, lots of racing left still the rest of the week. Obviously not the results that we wanted. We had a great race from Arson. I think a realistic race from Gaslight Hall. I was happy with him. We had an upsetting race with Maury, but you know what? That's racing. I can tell you what. There was some good news today. Time is on my side. Draws the rail in the first elimination of the Little Brown Jug. That will be a lot of fun. This is my second foray into the jug. I hit the rail last time too with Atlas Hanover. Made the final, got parked the whole way. Let's see if we can do better this year. Anyway, I will talk to you all very soon. I hope you're having a good day. It will be very difficult to be having a good day if you're partners of any of our horses that race this afternoon, except maybe Memory and Imagination, possibly Country Dancing, I guess. But you know what? That's racing. Turn the page. We still got tonight. We got the rest of the week. Good luck to everybody racing tonight. Tomorrow we got Pickpocket, Westland Warrior, Freedom Hill, Gymboree, Chicago Hall. I'm fancy like. Who's driving fancy? Mark McDonald is going to drive fancy. Favorite from the rail. Good luck to everybody. I will talk to you all very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Chin up. It's always another day.